Hello, my kaku. So good of you all to join us again today for our Commission on the 13th Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order at 3:02 p.m. today, and I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Pu'u for a vehena so we can start our meeting right. Commissioner Pu'u, the floor is yours.
Mahalo nui. Aloha po'akahi kako, and thank you for this honor of doing vehena. I will say I'm going to be very honest. When I found out my turn was up, waha'alulu wau. I feel like all the mana'o that are shared are very profound, very deep. So yeah, nui ko'u ha'alulu. And so I started to think about what I'm going to say today, what I'm going to share with you folks. I grabbed the puke olelo no eau off the shelf. You know, I said, small pule, kiakua, please give me some mana'o to share with this group. And even mahalo to Maka, who called me up to check if I was doing mana'o today, vehena, and gave me some thoughts as well. So you know, he had suggested talking about Kamehameha, and so I thought, yes, I will do that. I will talk about Kamehameha Ekahi, and you know, one of my favorite things about him. And so that's, you know, one thing I'll talk about, and then I'm going to talk about a second thing, which is kind of where I landed. But Kamehameha Ekahi, ka'u, I guess mo'olelo punahele comes from Ke Kuhau Pi'o's puke, where he talks about just the amazing leadership that our mo'i demonstrated right after his victory here on Oahu, after Nu'uanu, where he went ahead and, you know, after claiming that victory, he went right back and tended to the people, to the kanaka of our aina, right? He ensured that those were injured in battle were treated and attended to. He allowed, you know, he buried those who had perished, yeah, who had fallen in battle. And this one quote I like is where he attended to the stomachs of the people. And I think that's my favorite part, where he ordered his, you know, he had his warriors go and help to plant and replant kalo and uala. And he started to he did a circuit of our mokupuni, and he too, he went huli his lima ikalepo, and he also, you know, planted huli and stuff. And so I just think like about that kind of leadership and you know, kako as commissioners planning this festival, and how sometimes we got to do the hard stuff, but you know, we're always aware, or we need to be aware of the impacts, right, that we have, and how do we address and minimize where we can, or how we got to be able to get our hands dirty, right, get right in there, work alongside our community. And this is coming from the commissioner who was absent at the site visit on May 16th. So I call him Mike, but just, you know, getting our hands dirty, working right alongside our communities and demonstrating our caring and aloha, and, you know, using that as a way to build trust and pilina. So I did want to share that about Kamehameha, since we celebrated him at the beginning of the month. But there is a second thing that I wanted to share real quick. More personal, but for me was impactful. So I go to a church in Kalihi, right on Mokawea Street. It's called Kamakua Maulua. And because of the pandemic, we have been attending church virtually for the past 2 years, almost 2.5 years. And our church did reopen for in-person a few months ago, but we've been hybrid. So both virtual and in-person. But yesterday we had our first ho'ike in person after 2 years. And so ho'ike is when our different clubs or ahahui and different family groups come in, and we praise Keakua through mele, haipule, we you know, share poku, ha'awina, and we all wear white. It's a very beautiful experience. And so yesterday was the first time I had gone back into the church in more than 2 years. And one of the things that really struck me was that in that time, seeing our kupuna of the church and realizing ke ele makulea ke luahine de ilako, I realized, wow, it's been 2.5 years since I've seen them, and they're changing. Like I said, and so I realized, well, so one, it was really nice to connect with people again, to have that kind of interaction, because it is different, right, on in person versus virtual. So it was good to have a space for people to connect. And I think about our kupuna and how they need that kind of space to interact, right, have social interactions. And then the other mana'o for me, or my other takeaway is just making that time to connect with people, to catch up, whether it's people you see, frequently or not, but only so often, but even if it's just a phone call or just, again, just making that time to connect and create a space for us to celebrate together. Yesterday we were celebrating Keakua, celebrating each other. And so I think about this festival, right? And us creating this space to celebrate, to connect with each other, with our hoahanau throughout the Pacific. How this is good for all of us. And and just yesterday kind of reminded me of like that need for that space. And so I am proud to be a part of this work, and I look forward to the good things that we have planned. And I do want to say a special mahalo to Aaron, because I thought about you a little bit too, and just all the hard work that you are doing, the planning, thinking about the program, the program, the venues, the satellite sites, and just the experience again in that space that you are working hard to help us create for all of those who will participate. So a mahalo to you, and ya'oko pakahia pau mahalo.
Mahalo. Now we get back to the boring government stuff. Having called our meeting to order, I will do a roll call. So Chair is present and alone. Commissioner Benham is excused, as well as Commissioner Bento, who will be joining us late today. Commissioner De Silva.
I am present and I am alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hussey.
I am present and I am alone.
Commissioner Keokalole.
Here by myself.
Commissioner Lum.
Present and alone.
Commissioner Onishi.
Present and alone.
And Commissioner Pu'u.
Present and alone.
And staff, do we have anybody at our in-person location?
No.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 2, public testimony on today's agenda items. If you as a member of the public would like to testify on any of our agenda items for this meeting today, please go ahead and recognize yourself by either raising your hand, turning on your camera, or unmuting yourself, please. Awesome. Going once, 2 times, 3 times. Mahalo. I'm going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 3, where I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the May 16th, 2022 meeting minutes.
So move.
It's been moved by Commissioner Onishi. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Hussey, second.
I have a second by Commissioner Hussey. Members, we're in discussion. Any edits, things you caught in the minutes that need updating? Okay, hearing none. I'm going to go ahead and conduct a roll call vote. Chair votes aye. Commissioner De Silva.
Aye.
Commissioner Hussey.
Sorry, aye.
Commissioner Keokalole.
Aye.
Commissioner Lum.
Aye.
Commissioner Onishi.
Aye.
Commissioner Pu'u.
Aye.
Mahalo members, we've adopted our minutes unamended from our May 16th meeting. I'm going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 4, report of permitted interactions pursuant to Act 103, Session Laws of Hawaii 2021. The committees on venues and programming, as well as administrative committee, had their meetings, and those will be covered in agenda items 5 and 6. Commissioners, were there any other permitted interactions? Hearing none, mahalo. I also want to recognize at 3:12 p.m. Commissioner Bento has joined the meeting. Going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 5, presentation, discussion, and or action regarding the administrative committee update. Members, I apologize. The minutes from our admin committee went out late this morning. And so I apologize for that. They will be included in today's meeting packet that does get posted to the DBED site for members of the public that may be interested in reviewing these minutes. Chair Benham is out today, and so I'll be giving the report on behalf of the admin committee. And of course, if Commissioners Hussey or Keokalole or Festival Director Salah want to add anything, please do. But I'm going to go ahead and share some of our thoughts from that meeting. In our June 13th meeting, we're in attendance were Commissioner Benham, myself, Keokalole, Hussey, and Festival Director Salah. And we did discuss in progress FestPAC budget revisions. So the commission has asked for that budget to be revised. In a prior approval, the commission had approved the budget at about 20 million for the entire festival. The current revisions bring it down to 17.4, and we're working to try to get that budget down to 15 million overall. The festival director is going to work on some clarifications on several expenses that are related to some in-kind sources and some other things. And then we have 3 major buckets that we're looking at organizing the budget into: admin and operations, programming, and venues. Our festival director will continue to work with admin to refine the budget. At this time, the admin committee is not ready to bring that budget to the full commission, but when we are, we'll be sure to bring that back here to the full commission. I think that was the overarching piece for the budget. And then we did ask the festival director by our June admin meeting, so later next month rather, was to create a Gantt chart or a timeline for visuals to kind of show the tasks and event and completion deadlines for those. And so those are bulleted in the minutes from our meeting. But commissioners, I don't know if you've got anything else to add from our admin meeting, or I'll start there. So if you were in attendance.
No additions from me, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hussey. Okay, Aaron, anything from you? Okay.
Oh, yeah, mahalo.
So now that our report is given, other members, do you have questions for us? Okay, I'm not hearing any questions, members, on our report of the administrative committee. If not, let's go ahead and move on to agenda item number 6. Commissioner Lum will be providing our update from the venues and programming committee. Commissioner Lum.
Mahalo, Chair. So the Venues and Programming Committee met last Wednesday, June 22nd, and present were Commissioner Bento, Commissioner Umishi, and Commissioner Pu'u, and Festival Director Salah, and myself. The main purpose was to get some updates from the festival director, basically, and to talk about a couple of things that we want to get done and have in place before the end of the year, certainly, but also shooting for a little earlier for the fall, and that would be to have our agreement in place with the university, and that would include housing. We want to have all memorandums of understanding with satellite venues that we'll be looking at using also by the end of the year, and again, targeting really fall, but definitely by the end of the year. And the last thing is core programming. So we did talk a little bit about some of the venues that are still on the table. I believe these are venues that came to us when we first started planning. Those that are still interested in being a part of the festival and having some programming going on, and that would be the Bishop Museum, Polynesian Cultural Center, Hi Sam, the Hawaii State Art Museum, and West Oahu at this point. So we'll still be in discussions with those and possibly others. And what is being asked is that the venue, any venue that is interested in having some programming as part of the festival, take care of their own costs. So that would be part of it, including any possible transportation costs that may need to be incurred to get delegates to that venue. Let's see, there was we touched a little bit on the Va'a ceremony, and both Commissioner Bento and Festival Director Salah have been talking with Kamehameha schools. So I think that's still a little bit ongoing, probably more updates from them as that goes along. But probably the biggest thing we want to bring up with the Commission today is the programming. I know we spent a lot of time on that previously, about a little over a year ago. So I wanted to, let me, I apologize. I know that minutes were sent out for the committee meeting on Saturday, but I did just a minor, some minor update this morning. So that was sent out with the admin committee minutes. One of the things that I wanted to, and I'm going to share my screen as soon as I get my cursor. Okay. I'm going to show. Can you see, can everyone see this?
Yes, Ken,
Okay.
thank you.
So this was worked on very diligently by Commissioner Bento and her committee, and it was brought to the Commission last year. You can see it. It was brought up at our April 5th meeting, and I went back to check the minutes. The meeting following, which was April 19th, the Commission did approve the top line, which we called the previously approved buckets. And I know that Commissioner Bento and her and the committee had worked on the bottom, which said newly proposed buckets, because up to that point in April, nothing had been officially approved by the Commission. But again, I did go back to the minutes of April 19th, 2021, and what was approved was that top, the top line. So the performing arts, mixed media, living arts, health and wellness, and special events. So just with confirmation from the Commission members, we want to move ahead for planning purposes so we can start actually putting a schedule together. So just want to put that out to the Commission members to look at again. And I want to ask any of the venues and committee and programming committee members, if you have anything to add to what was discussed on the 22nd or anything that I've reported out so far.
Jamie. So I just wanted to add that in our discussions with Festival Director Salah, we understand that it's really important that we communicate to the other participants, the other countries, what we are looking at doing. And so for us, our determination as to what our core is going to be for the festival is going to be instrumental in our communication to the other delegations and to the other countries. So we need a lot of help in making sure that, you know, we finalize this so that not just we can look at venues and a schedule, but also to inform the other delegations on what our what we're planning to do and what events we're planning to hold.
Thanks, Commissioner Onishi. The one other thing is, and Aaron, maybe you can speak to this, but part of this is exactly the groundwork that is going into the reissuance of the RSVP request of the participating countries and which practices that they will include in their delegation so that we can budget and plan accordingly. I think you guys will remember in the first iteration for 2020, we had included surfing as an event, but had only received intent to participate from 4 countries, which led us to cancel it. And so I think we'll go through that similar process here again as we reissue our intent to participate form.
Chair, did you want me to speak more to that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ready to, it's something that I think will be ongoing and we'll respond to as we get RSVPs back. But yeah, sure.
So just quickly, as I shared with the Programming and Venues Committee, the core festival programming has been in place for many years, and that represents really the heart and soul of the festival proper. Many of these things in terms of the actual content of the programming, part of me wants to defer to Commissioner De Silva as chair of the Council of Pacific Arts and Culture and preparation. And so these sort of previously approved buckets and then the newly proposed buckets are, the details therein come from what was happening at the commission at a particular time. My goal though, to Chair's point, is to assure that over the course of really the next 2 months, we have what the commission is going to approve as core programming so that in our assertion of the Pacific countries participating in an updated invite to participate, what we're presenting at that point will represent the core festival. And so I'd like to do that at the same time that we go prime time with the go public, that is with the website, which I'll share a little bit more about in the festival director's report. But this conversation around programming is an important one for us to have. And what I've committed to Commissioner Lum with the Programming Venues Committee is to come back to her with a draft, potential draft schedule for us, but also contextualizing that with schedules of previous festivals so that the Programming and Venues Committee can see what has happened in previous festivals.
Members, any other questions for Commissioner Lum around programming or what Festival Director Salah had shared? Okay. Commissioner Lum, so do you have an ask of the commission today, or is this just for our awareness?
I guess actually it is for awareness. When we first had the discussion, I had not, I knew we had talked about this in great detail at great length before, but I just reviewed again, like I said, the minutes, and it's actually something that's already been approved, so I don't want to rehash it. I think I think we've talked about it enough, so it's really more just to at this point just to remind the commission of what has already been approved, and then as Festival Director Salah has mentioned, he is going to try to put together a draft schedule and also overlay some of what has been done at other festivals, so we can see that how it was, put together in other by other host countries.
Got it. Yeah. Commissioner De Silva.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you to the committee for all your hard work. I just want to clarify, so the top row of boxes, we have already approved. The bottom row of boxes, are they supposed to be just the details of what's in the boxes above? And is it the top boxes that's going, are those the items that are going to be on a questionnaire that goes to the countries?
So I'm checking now, literally right now. That's what you heard me clacking away, because I thought we had adopted and approved the bottom buckets and those details in a 2021 meeting. I wanted to say it was in the summer of last year. I'm checking our minutes. I think we already approved the bottom portion, because I remember
Okay.
like when Ilihia was helping us and he was driving the PowerPoint deck, like I totally remember us
Right.
having these discussions. I know we
Right.
moved a couple of things around, and so I thought we had already adopted the bottom boxes already, but I'm checking.
Okay. And is it, is it the top boxes, the bottom boxes, or all of it that's going to be on the questionnaire?
I defer to Aaron on that one. I don't
Are
know,
we there?
Aaron, can
Are
you
we
speak
there
to-
yet?
No, my thinking was, so my thinking is the same as yours, Chair. I think my understanding was that these, the whole Ike, Ho'ikiki, that newly proposed buckets represents what was last approved by the commission, in which case that is the content that would go out into the Pacific.
The bottom boxes.
Correct.
Whoa. Whoa. Um, okay. Based on my experience, this is way too much and too detailed, because when you look at the performing arts, I don't know, there's some of it looks, I don't know, it looks like separating dye out and food sovereignty and food systems. The thing you have to remember is that when the countries look at this, they're going to try to participate in as many items as possible. And if we can consolidate like things that could come under a more comprehensive heading, so that under that heading, you know, you would have food, whatever it is, instead of detailing, separating out into such detail. I think that's going to, just knowing from my perspective of having to fill these out, that's a lot harder. Like the initial request is just, are you going to participate in music? Are you going to participate in dance? Are you going to participate in the very general categories? And then once you have the feedback from the countries on what general categories they want to participate in, then I think you can work on your schedule, because I think it's a little bit of wasted time if you do the schedule now, not knowing how many countries are going to participate in what. Like, some of it is obvious. Everybody's going to participate in music and dance, but not everybody's going to participate in drama. So if you make a schedule with time for everybody to participate in drama, you're going to have to revise it anyway. So that would kind of be a waste of time, in my opinion. And then once they have given you their answers on the general buckets, then you can let them know the items that are included in that general bucket. And then when they sign up for then they can sign up for specific things within that area. And then it'll be like, say, just say symposiums, yeah? The person who's going to answer the questionnaire isn't the person who's going to be in charge of each of these groups. They're going to be in charge of the whole delegation. And so once the head of delegation or the point of contact decides which larger buckets they're going to participate in, and they get confirmation from us, then they're going to take that category and give it to the person who's head of that category. And then that person needs to know the details. You get it? Okay.
Yeah.
Those are just my suggestions.
Those are great suggestions. Aaron, you good?
Yeah, so mahalo nui. I should have clarified this earlier, that the schedule that I'm presenting to the Programming Venues Committee is really just a shell of the overall outline of the festival, based on Festival Village will be active from 10 to 5, and these are the kinds of things that would happen in that space, you know, those kinds of things, right? It's just an idea to give the Venues and Programming Committee really a high level overview of all of the sort of, you know, pillars of the festival. And then so to your point, Antimapu, Commissioner De Silva, right? We will stay high level. This first, my intent is that the first reach out back into the Pacific for intent to participate will be exactly as you say. We'll just do very high level pillars or these kinds of things, and then we'll garner that, pull that all back together, and then start to decide what gets you know, what gets parceled out in terms of the detail of the actual day-to-day programming. So according to the festival handbook, that final schedule really should be done a year out. But in preparation for that final schedule, again, to your point, we want to stay, you know, rather high level. So mahalo nui.
Yeah, mahalo.
Commissioner Bento.
No, Aaron actually summarized that really well, because I think that was what the point was when we proposed these new buckets. It was to keep it in that high level so that smaller ho'ike, ike, ho'ike ki'i, hanano eau, and then as we pare down into the details, this was how we were kind of looking at how we would get into the details and who was doing what and those kinds of things. So Aaron actually spoke to it really eloquently. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Commissioners, any other questions for Commissioner Lum and our Programming and Venues Committee? Okay, hearing none. I want to then go ahead and move us on to agenda item number 7. This is the presentation, discussion, and/or action regarding the Festival Director's Report. We've got 2 parts to this agenda item today. I'm actually going to hand the floor to Commissioner De Silva for a report of the first part, so she can help frame it from the SPC and the CPAC side, and then we'll go into Festival Director Salah. So Commissioner De Silva, the floor is yours.
Mahalo, Chair. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see all of you. Okay, so this is the FestPAC working group meeting that comes under the Council of Pacific Arts and Culture, and the council comes under the SPC, the Secretariat of the Pacific Community. So I'm just gonna, you guys have the handout, but I just want to point out the first thing is that there was a review of FestPAC and the purposes and where it's going and financially what we need and what we need help with and how to improve everything. And it was a very comprehensive report. It was an excellent report. I hope the commissioners received that report, Chair. And the consensus of the working group was that they really want to look at the 9 recommended points from that report and see how many they can implement, how long it will take them to implement them, what it would take to implement them. And so the working group is going to be working on that. And once they analyze that, then they're going to reach back. They're going to reach back out to us, especially because we're in charge of the next festival, to talk about what from that review from TPAO that we can start to incorporate as we're planning for the festival and also for the Youth Ambassador Program that will happen next August. This August? This August.
It's this August already. And
This August already.
The report, the TPAO report, was included in last meeting's packet that Aaron gave to us in the folder.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so I think the more pertinent part for us to look at is the timeline that the working group has proposed. There was a meeting last week on June 20th and 21st with New Zealand and the SPC to do exactly what I said, to look at the 9 recommended points from the TPAL report and to figure out which ones they can start with, how they're going to manage doing them, and so they can actually, why have a report if you're not going to act on it, right? So that's pretty much what they're doing. And they are slated, they call it unpacking the recommendations. They're looking at what the recommendation is, how it can be implemented, who can help to deliver and implement the recommendation, which includes all the countries in the council, and when to put a time frame, when they can put it, when it can happen. So putting a time frame on it, and then how much money it's going to cost. Those are the points. So they're supposedly have been working on that in July. They're going to, the SPC is going to share a draft of this from the working group to with the working group for feedback from the larger working group. So right now it's just New Zealand, and I'm not sure, Monty, if you listened in on that. New Zealand and the SPC, but there are actually 11 countries, including Hawaii, that are in the working group. So the recommendations that they came up with, I'll call on you in a bit, Monty, to give us anything on that, are going to be presented to the working group, these 11 countries, in July. And then in August, the working group is going to revise their draft action plan in August and then send it to the countries for feedback. This is always what they do. The countries have to have opportunity to feedback in September. In October, so every month something's happening. In October, they will finalize their action plan. And then in November, they're planning to have a CPAC meeting with all of the countries to endorse the action plan. And then a ministers meeting. So actually CPAC doesn't endorse it. They recommend that the ministers endorse it. The ministers of culture in all of the countries are the ones who actually have the power to be able to endorse recommendations and actions. So it'll go to CPAC first. CPAC says we agree and we recommend that the ministers accept this and endorse it. And that's supposed to happen in December. That's all of this year. Every month there's something. What the working group is asking for, and also the participating countries are asking for, another visit to Hawaii. Even though they did it 4 years ago, things have changed. They have new leadership in place. And so the new leadership wants to be able to see the sites and ask the questions and hear about all of our mitigations, including, I forget the name, coming into the country, all the restrictions that we have. So my recollection was that the countries were asking for this in the first quarter of 2023, which will give them time to request funds to travel here, because their funding requests for 2023 will be submitted in September and October of this year. So, and the SPC is currently taking a poll of the countries to see what they prefer. And everybody has said 2023. So once we get confirmation from the SPC that they would like us to find dates, available dates for in-person CPAC meeting, probably ministers meeting, and a site visit, they will ask us to submit dates to them, and then they will take those dates again and poll the countries to see what works best and what has the least amount of conflicts. And then we'll have to move forward from there. So side note on that, based on what we just said about the questionnaire that's going out and the responses from the countries, if we can send out the questionnaire by the beginning of the fourth quarter of this year, then I can press the countries to get a response so that we can give them more information when they come to the in-person site visit, that we can actually give them a shell of a schedule and let them kind of see how things might fall into place, which is a really good incentive for them to complete the questionnaire that we need in order to further our planning. And so that's what I have. I'd like to call on Monty in case Monty has additional information from that June meeting with New Zealand and SPC. Thank you, Monty. Is that okay, Chair? Can I do that?
The Honorable Chair recognizes the Honorable Mr. McCumber, former commissioner of this commission and liaison to the SPC.
Hello, Mike Ako. I think that was actually very comprehensive, Kumu. So I don't really have anything to add, just that that New Zealand really, as the chair of the working group, is really steering things and will probably move things along, even if the other countries are moving a little slow. So I'm anticipating whatever time schedule New Zealand purports will be locked in for us.
Mahalo, Monty. Okay, Chair, that's all I have. Unless there's questions from the commissioners, I will entertain questions.
Mahalo, Commissioner De Silva / Chair De Silva, with all the hats that we all wear. Aaron, the floor is yours.
Mahalo, Chair. Mahalo, Commissioner De Silva, and really quick direct response. Absolutely, we'll get the intent to participate, updated intent to participate form out by the beginning of the fourth quarter, hopefully earlier, in all honesty. And if we stay on schedule with the website, we should be able to do that. So let me share screen and I can start to talk through the festival director's report. I hope it's okay that I share this way and not do the whole screen, because something happens to my computer when doing such. So Festival Director's Report, June 27, 2022. The order of today's report is to talk about admin and logistics, followed by venues and programming. So this is supplementary to a certain extent to what we've already discussed with the admin committee and the venues and programming committee, and then website and community engagement. Regarding administration and logistics, I've started a conversation with the State Department, again, supplementary to the reports already given. But I've started a conversation with the State Department, and we are looking at the design and implementation of a special programs visa, and then a procurement process, therefore. It is precedented, and so hopefully it's not as difficult. My understanding is it's much more facilitatable than what has been discussed prior in terms of visa and visa wait times. So that conversation is moving, and it's actually moving quite quickly. So I'm thankful for that. I'm hoping, actually, Commissioner De Silva, that by the time we send out this next round of questionnaires for updated participation, we'll be able, as a part of that packet, to augment that packet with logistics around travel and then biosecurity's update. And on that point, Kelly, Tang and I have been in correspondence. We've been corresponding around the updated biosecurity's issues. And so that will also be included as part of that packet. In the next admin committee meeting, I will be much more comprehensive around biosecurities and updates since COVID and since the last biosecurities set of documents. I've begun pulling together a host country manual. This is really a direct, or I should say a redirection by the chair to really return to the FestPAC manual, and as all the things are there. So I've really gone back to that and started to pull things together. And then the design of a festival, and I'll talk a little bit more about that manual as we go through the next few slides. The Festival Secretariat, I want to acknowledge and really thank the Pacific Island Development Program under Dr. Mary Hattori at the East West Center. We've started onboarding interns and pulling together a group of Pacific Islanders who are helping to pull together the sort of operation on the ground pieces of this festival. Again, in return to that festival manual and the design of the host country manual, the committees that we started to pull together directly out of the festival manual are festival management, which is inclusive of all of you, excuse me, myself as festival director, and admin director and government services. Again, I will get into this more comprehensively with the admin committee, but the reason I'm sharing this today is that there is movement, that we are moving forward. Financial management, fundraising and sponsorship, media and promotion, programming activities and venues, production, support services and logistics, HR, evaluation and reporting. So on one hand, it is quite comprehensive, it is quite daunting. On the other, I think there is a community starting to really come together around supporting the success of this festival, the success of Hawaii as host of this festival, and really supporting the success of the Pacific. In terms of venues and programming, Commissioner Lum has already spoken to this. We're working on a presentation of a core festival schedule. Again, really very high level outline of what the festival will look like, particularly at the venues of, at the Festival Village venue on the University of Hawaii campus and the convention center. And then allowing really the core content of the festival to tell us where the ancillary venues will be. And so as Commissioner Lum has shared earlier, there are venues that have shared interest in participating. The one venue she missed earlier, and because Monty is on the meeting, I want to also acknowledge that Royal Hawaiian Center has shared interest in also hosting some part of the festival. And then the goal, and this is really a response to Commissioner Keokalole and his direction to start to pull together a timeline that really gets us to immediately to the end of this year, is that MOUs and MOAs are solidified really by the end of the, the beginning of the fall and as in preparation for fall and the fourth quarter. And so my goal there is to assure that insofar as the core festival village is concerned and the convention center are concerned, and then the sort of housing, et cetera, all of those things should be solidified by the end of August. And then conversations around ancillary venues, if those MOUs are not possible by then. Finally, we are almost set with the 13th Festival Pacific Arts website. I'm going to click into this a little bit, but I do want to acknowledge Stefan Bradley, who is joining as a public member of this meeting today, and we will take notes. So Stefan is designing this website. He is a senior at the University of Hawaii West Oahu, Academy for Creative Media major, graduating in December. Oh, sorry.
Commissioner De Silva first.
Yeah.
Yes, right here on this slide. I have an issue with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
This uli is in the left hand. This has been flipped.
Okay.
And we cannot do that.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let me go into the website proper, and by all means, I need to stop sharing this and going into share this screen. So Stefan, please take good notes. I'll do my best to take notes as well. Ultimately, the site is being built in Squarespace. And what I have already asked, so thank you for that note, Commissioner De Silva. What I've already asked of Stefan is to cycle these images in the background so that we're looking at an array of Pacific Island activity. You'll see in the header there, it's really the sort of core website building, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. Let me just scroll down. So what is missing is a lot of the copy content, which is easy to plug in as soon as the copy content is done. We're working on it. And then Stefan can plug in place as necessary. We've built out the design of blogs, a series of blogs that will really coincide with the content that is relevant to Pacifica, and also to the work that SPC is doing around the 2050 strategy, the Blue Ocean content, and those kinds of things, and just assuring that all of these issues that the festival brings to the fore are issues that we are acknowledging as well. I'm building out a partnership with a University of Hawaii class, creative media class, to come together around a social media strategy, which will include Instagram, Facebook, etc. That strategy will be a part of the fall curriculum, and therefore in the fall we will start to have new posts, etc. For those of you that are familiar, for Guam in 2016, there was a series done called FestPAC Facts. And so to a certain extent, we're taking that as a kind of cue, but wanting to engage and assure the engagement with Pacific Islanders directly around their own homes and the work that is happening in their own homes. And so the delegation portal lives here right now under support. The delegation portal really is a portal for delegation leads to access information that is apropos and relevant to their particular delegation. And it's also a portal for us to know, this is sort of the behind the scenes. Everyone lives inside of these portals. And so all of the information that is necessary will live behind these portals as well. We will need East West Center's assistance in assuring that these portals are safe. And it is work that East West Center is familiar with, but we wanted to build it out into the website so that everything sort of, again, lives inside of the website. Here's at the top header is all of the public facing pieces of the festival. So about the Oceanic Nations, these are all things that come from the previous website. What we've done is assured that all of the copy content is updated. American Samoa, for instance, has a new governor in place, etc. And so we've made sure that the fact checking is up to date and correct. So this is representative of the 27 nations. In the previous website, I think these were, in these areas, the visuals were flags. And if the commission wants to remain with flags, we can absolutely do that. A part of me wants to assure that we are celebrating the people. And so we'll make sure that the people are also part of that visual as well. So schedule, again, that high level schedule will live here. The website is a living document, and so it'll respond in real time to changes that we make. Venues includes all the venues that will be a part of the festival. The travel guide will be the public facing piece of it. For those of you coming to enjoy the festival, there are rates of these hotels. This is the kind of, prepare for this kind of weather, et cetera, et cetera. And then a contact page that really just funnels into a Google Doc and an email address. And so this is where we are right now. We are working to wrap this quickly, updating copy content, starting to pull together Instagram, posts, etc. And so the goal is, again, to still come back to prime time and have this sit live in during this summer. I'm going to stop sharing here. Oh no, maybe I should take comments on the content of the website. Let me go back to the homepage. Okay.
Members, questions for the festival director?
Aaron, it's
Yes.
it's Commissioner De Silva.
Hello.
This is really great. I love it. I love that everything is in one website. That's really important. And the portal for the heads of delegations to submit all the information and receive information, that's really critical. I just want to make a comment on the flags.
Please, please.
It's funny when I went to the 8th Festival in New Caledonia, every time we go to a festival, we're asked to bring flags, different sizes, different numbers, even flags for the cars. And as Hawaiians, like we're proud of our Hawaiian flag, but like flags aren't like the big thing for us, right? Haven't been until recently. So this is 2000. Flags weren't that big a deal. So, but we did what they asked. We did the flag. We sent the flags and all of that. Actually, no, wait. They didn't ask us for flags in New Caledonia. That's right. But we took flags because we knew that they were going to have flags. So we get to a contingent got to go up to the northeast in a more remote village called Pondemier, and it took us all day to get there because we had to go pass through Kone and ask permission of the ali'i there and have a whole day ceremony before they would allow us to go into the northern region, and then go across the mountains to the eastern side. We're supposed to be there in the mid-afternoon. We got there at 8 at night. It was us, Samoa, and Papua New Guinea, a contingent, 15 men, dancing men from Papua New Guinea, on 3 buses. And by the time we got there, it was late, but all the people were there sitting on the curb, kids, families, kupuna, sitting on the curb, waiting for us. And as we approached, they were along the side of the road, cheering and waving and just so excited to see us. So we got there, we got off the buses and everything, and we approached, and the flags are flying, and it's like such an awesome feeling to see your flag flying when you're in the middle of nowhere in the Pacific, some place you've never been before. And we looked up, and guess what flag it was? Ha'oleheme Hawaii. We had the Hawaiian flag with us, and Anakala Eddie Ka'ana was with us. And he went to the leadership and he said, please, will you put our national flag of Hawaii up? And right there, so this is not a flagpole like we're used to. There were no ropes to pull down. It was a long bamboo pole, and they had to bring the whole pole down, take off the American flag, put on the Hawaiian flag. See, I'm just crying talking about it. And when that flag went up, the entire Hawaii delegation was just bawling. It was such a proud moment to see our flag flying there.
Sure.
And then the second flag thing was when we went to the Solomon Islands, and our chair was there and remembers this. And we do have pictures of it too. And as we're walking into the stadium, and this is on the opening ceremony, and we give our little ho'okupu and do our ha'iolelo and our presentation and our hula and all of that, and give our gifts. And as soon as we left that and we turned the corner, in the bleachers were all the kids holding up placards, and there was your flag. And it was another moment where we just lost it. It's such pride to be a Hawaiian and to be representing our nation there in the Solomon Islands. For the people of the Pacific, their flags are really important. So, and the flags have always been on those opening pages. And if you look at any brochure, when they talk about countries, the flag is always there. So I think it's appropriate. I also like your idea of people, and that maybe we can have a picture of the flag and a person from that country as well.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to share that, because if you hadn't ever been in a situation of a proud moment with a flag, then I want everybody to understand. Thank you.
No, mahalo for the mo'olelo, and point well taken. So mahalo.
Aloha, Commissioner Bento. I just wanted to tag on real quick to Kumumapuana's mo'olelo about the high. I think it's also important for us to look at the people that are being invited and looking at if they have their own national flag, separate from perhaps what government systems they might be under. So that might be a fact-finding koleana, so that we get the right flags up for everyone. That's all. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
All right, members, any other questions for the festival director?
Chair, would you mind if I just ask Stefan to turn on his camera and
Of course,
just
please.
I would like to, he's been working really, really hard on this website. And so I just wanted to acknowledge you, Stefan. This is the Commission of Pacific Arts and Culture, responsible for the production of, successful production of the Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Stefan Bradley working with me on the pulling together of this website. Stefan, let me just say that the fact that Commissioner De Silva is appreciative of the website is a big deal. So mahalo nui for that.
No, and I'd like to add my mahalo as well. Thank you for your work on this.
Thank you. Stefan, did you want to say a few words? Or are you okay? Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I didn't realize I had to. I was gonna say thank you. Thank you guys for the feedback. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So we do have good notes. We'll make sure that that image, well, all of these images on the front facing page will be altered appropriately. So mahalo nui for that note. If there are no other notes, I'll stop sharing at this point. Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you.
And that will also complete my festival director report for today.
Thank you, Festival Director Salah. Members, any questions for the director? Okay, hearing none. Thanks so much. I'm going to go ahead and move us on to agenda item number 8. If any members of the public would like to testify on any of the agenda items that we have heard today, please go ahead and recognize yourself by either raising your hand, turning on your camera, or unmuting yourself to let us know. Again, this is the time for public to testify on any of the agenda items today. So good to see so many familiar names. Thank you guys for sticking with us, even for all these years, literal. Thank you for being with us. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on to announcements, which I have none. Members, any announcements? Okay, thanks so much. Our next meeting will be July 11th, and we'll make sure that the staff sends out the notice for that in advance. But if you can go ahead and continue to hold your calendar for July 11th, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting at 4:05 p.m. today.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I think we're all gonna say yes. Thank you so much, commissioners and the public, for joining us. That concludes our meeting for today. Mahalo.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.